All right, first of all, thank you for everyone who tunes into these. It does take a lot of work to put these together, so I do appreciate those of you who are checking them out. It means a lot to me, and I think we're building something good here. So with that, let's get right into the Bears breakdown, part of our mini-series, Interior Offensive Line. That's our guards and centers, and to me, this is the crux of where the Bears need to focus, along with wide receiver, to make huge changes on this team to make them a division contending, playoff running, Super Bowl running team. And you're going to see why because of this video. So you're going to be glad you checked this one out. Thank you for tuning it in. Before I move to the next screen, I'm going to point out there is a guy on the far left you may not recognize. That is Jerome Carvin. The Bears just signed him to a reserve futures contract. Nothing to write home to your mom about. Nothing to get excited over. He was on the Chiefs. They cut him. And when a player gets cut, it's for a reason. He's not top tier, but we are bringing him in for depth to see how we can do with him and work with him. I think Chris Morgan is a phenomenal line coach. And if you listen to Eberflus and Poles in their end of year press conference, they made a focus of, yes, we are keeping Chris Morgan. Regardless of who comes on, he's going to be the line coach. And that's for a reason. Anyways, he was Darnell Wright's teammate in Tennessee. I don't see him being a starter. I hope he can pan out, but it's really to bring him in as a reserve future contract is to bring him into next camp in the 90-man and see how he does, see if we can pull something out of there, but nothing to be too stellar excited about. All right, here's the team as it stacks up right now. Doug Kramer is a practice squad guy. You guys know him. He was drafted a couple years ago in the 7th round. Lucas Patrick, Dan Feeney at the end of their contract. I don't see either of them being re-signed. If they signed one of them, it will be for a league minimum contract for depth, and I don't see them getting playing time. They are not quality in the NFL. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm going to show you why as well. Cody Whitehair's contract is coming to an end. He has one more year, but the Bears can cut him this year and save save $9 million of it, and $4 million will be paid in dead cap. So saving that $9 million is worth it with Cody Whitehair. Yes, we're going to lose $4 million to dead cap, but $9 million savings is enough to go out and help get other key players that we're going to need because Cody Whitehair is not it. A note on that before we move on from this, Nate Davis, his contract so far is not looking super good either. But they structured it in a way that if he's not working out next year, he's got distractions this year, he had whatever going on. If that got in the way and that's what made him perform poorly, okay, we'll see if he can correct it this year. If he can't, we only owe him $2 million of that next year, and we can cut him and save $9 million. So that's huge going into next year to know, and that's nice to me to have that safety net because right now I'm not super hot on the Nate Davis contract, and here's why. Okay, let's look first. So here's our starters. Lucas Patrick is gone, so obviously our key need is center, and that is a huge need for the Bears, a huge need for any successful team. If you look at the successful playoff teams, they have quality line depth, period. It's the way it is. Tevin Jenkins is quality. He's a second-round pick, and that just shows you the need for high-quality draft picks on the line. Do you see the two green ones? Tevin Jenkins, a second-round pick, converted from tackle to the guard. Darnell Wright, first-round pick. Those are the only two green that we have. Braxton Jones is a quality find in the 5th round, and really he graded out super high. But he came from a small school, so was his competition really high? Was it good competition to gauge him? Well, we're seeing he is a quality tackle, but I don't know if I love him being a starting tackle. We'll see how he does this year. We'll see if the Bears – I'm not going to be shocked either way if the Bears roll with him at starting tackle or bring in a depth piece. If they sign Joe Alt, if they pick him with the draft pick, I won't be shocked one bit. If we pick up Patrick Paul in the 2nd round and have him compete with Braxton for the starting job, I won't be surprised one bit because we need depth there. But this isn't the tackle video. Let's move on. This is the guards and center video. So let's look at our team. The 3rd column over, the sack hit or 4th sack hit hurry percentage. This is my own created one. These are actual statistics though, but I created this. And what you want is your guys. You see your top guys in the league are below the 0.05%, and that's just above average. The best guys are below the 0.04 into the 0.03, and the best guys are right around 0.02. So Tevin Jenkins looks good. The rest of them, a little suspect. But what you see with Cody Whitehair is, yeah, he did a little better on the passing, but then when it came to run block, he had a 42.4 run blocking grade with PFF. So his run blocking wasn't so good. Lucas Patrick, his run blocking, 61.6, but then his pass blocking was suspect. And PFF, I don't put everything into, guys. I want to preface that. We've said it before, but there is a basis as a starting point to look at things with that. And with linemen, it is a little bit better to look at that with them. 52, 50, 45, 49, 44, that's not good, especially when you're talking about your starters. That is not good. 73.4, that is good. That's good. You're happy with Tevin. That's a building block right there. That's good for us. He's going to come up to the end of his contract soon, and we're going to have to decide whether we're going to re-sign him if he can stay healthy. He's had some health issues. I see him taking a hometown discount too. He's a Bears guy. I see it happening, but let's not focus on that right now. That's for the end of this year. So we need a lot of work on this offensive line. Let's compare these guys to the top centers in the league. Frank Ragnow, number 1. Connor Williams, number 2. Lloyd Cushenberry, number 3. Obviously the Lions. Connor Williams is with the Dolphins. Lloyd Cushenberry is with the Broncos. And you see that's 1st, 2nd, and 10th. And I know that's a jump from 2nd to 10th, but I put Lloyd Cushenberry there at the end because he's a free agent, and so is Connor Williams. So those are our top 2 free agents in this upcoming class. And look at their sack hit hurry percentage rate. This is what I'm talking about, guys. 0.031%, 0.021%, 0.022%. That's the top of the league. That's what we need. We Justin Fields supporters, as you guys are calling them, aren't crazy. That's backed up by these statistics for this reason. Look at how little support he's getting. Guys, he was one of the worst in the league at his pressured and hurried percentage at 11.9% of plays. 1 out of every play that he dropped back on, he didn't have time to do anything. He didn't have time to do jack squat. The only one worse was Geno Smith. And look how much worse of a year Geno Smith had this year compared to last year. It makes a huge difference. It's not just Balarkey. It's not floating out there in space. Guys have to have time. If you want them to be a pocket quarterback, if you want them to accomplish the things you're telling them to accomplish, you better give them the support to do it. All right, I'm rambling now. But these are the quality type of guys we need. We'll get into what I think on signing one of these guys later. But look at the run block grades, the pass block grades, the PFF grades. I mean, this makes the Bears look like chump change, okay? All right, so let's look at the draft now. Let's look at what we can find in the draft. And this does have me kind of excited. And here's why. So a lot of people talk about Cedric Von Pron. He had a good year last year. This year was not so great. But there's one guy who has completely separated himself, and he's a huge reason why Bo Nix looked so good. Bo Nix is a good quarterback. I agree. And there's a lot of Bears fans that say, hey, let's take Bo Nix and let's develop him. Let's get him in the 2nd round. I'm not opposed to something like that. But look at why Bo Nix was so successful. Look at Jackson Powers Johnson's sack hit hurry rate. 0.002. That's ridiculous. Now, I agree there is a difference between transitioning from the NFL or from the NCAA to the NFL. There is a difference. John Michael Schmitz, who I did not want us to draft last year, but I did think had a lot of potential. He ranked 36 out of 36 this last year as centers. 36 of 36. So all the Bears fans that were calling, hey, let's draft John Michael, that's because we knew we needed a center. But this last draft class was not phenomenal. And the last free agent class was not phenomenal. There's a reason Poles does what he does. And it's got to be brick by brick. It takes time for a rebuild. He has told us that. This is not a one-year rebuild. This is the year where you correct the center position with the Chicago Bears. And I see it being done in twofold. And I see us drafting, if we can trade with Washington, this is where the value of that is, guys. If we can everyone should want us to trade down one spot and get both those 2nd round picks and a future 2nd or 3rd round pick. Yeah, we don't have the 1st round pick of the future, but this is valuable this year for this kid right here alone. Jackson Powers Johnson. 0.002 is ridiculous. And right now he's projected to go between 52 to 56. By the time the combine's over, by the time the Senior Bowl's over, which he'll be playing in, he's going to be up there in the mid-40s. If the Bears get their own pick back at 41 and select Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm going to be jumping up and down for a center that we picked in the 2nd. I'm not kidding. Like, this to me would be just as exciting as us picking Romo Dunze at 9. I would be that excited about it. Now, there are some other quality guys. There are some good guys on this list for center. And I think the most value one, if you don't see us picking up a center in the first couple days, if we pick up Bo Limmer in the 4th, 5th round, he's the Arkansas center. that would be a quality pickup. Look at his statistics compared to the rest of the field. Yeah, he's not the best, but there's some chance there to develop him. And if that happens, I expect us fully, and we may have already signed a center before the draft, guys. We might already get Connor Williams or Lloyd Cushenberry. And I would love both of them because you can even rotate. Say we pick up Lloyd Cushenberry and we still draft Zach Frazier in the 3rd round. You can still rotate Zach Frazier in at guard and get him some experience, still rotate him in and get him some snaps. It's not the, I mean, there's lots of options. There's good things that happen when you have depth on the line. Absolutely good things that happen. So of these guys, I prefer Jackson Powers Johnson, but there are some quality depth piece here. Zach Frazier from West Virginia is another guy I would love us to draft as well. He's a very balanced approach as well. But there are some good options in this draft. Let's look at the guard position in the draft, though. And these are the guys that I like. Zach Zinter, I think, could fall a little bit because of his injury. He broke his leg, which I think would be phenomenal. But all 3 of these guys would be great pieces, I think, if we can draft them at value spots in the 3rd round or later, which Christian Haynes probably go in the 2nd round. Even Cooper Beebe is getting a little bit of buzz about going. This is my ranking order. Zach Zinter, Cooper Beebe, Christian Haynes. That's not how they're ranked. Right now, they're ranked as Christian Haynes going first, then Cooper Beebe, then Zach Zinter. I just think Zach Zinter is the whole package. I really, really, really like him as a player. His pass blocking rating is a little low, but I don't understand all those things with PF, to be honest with you. But I do look at his sack hit hurries, and it's .017. I mean, he protected J.J. McCarthy. That's what he did. It was his job, and he did it great. And let's go back to the last screen. He had with him Drake Nugent. It was also Michigan, .023. You wonder why J.J. McCarthy had so much time? I mean, guys, it's right there. You've got to have a successful line to be successful at quarterback. I don't know how much more I can preach this, but I think people will start to realize that and stop being so hard on Fields and realize Fields is the whole package. He just needs the support. All right. People are going to get sick of hearing that, but I'm going to keep preaching it and backing it up with stats like this till I'm blue in the face. So, yes, I expect us to draft a guard, and I expect it to be one of these 3 guys. And Poles will probably shock me because he always finds guys in the Senior Bowl, or he finds guys that are quality that we're not seeing, and then he drafts them, and then we end up loving them. But I do see us picking one of them to work with Nate Davis to get experience, and then if Nate Davis isn't working out, to cut Nate Davis next year. Brutal reality of the NFL, but Nate Davis isn't panning out for that contract so far. All right. Here's our 2 big free agents, and this is what I think the value will go for them. Connor Williams, 4 years, $50 million. He would get more than that if he wasn't coming back from a torn ACL. He's the top of the top right now, and he is elite. I would love to have him. Both these guys are young, so they're both young guys. Connor Williams, the reason he would sign a little discount there is because that first year has to be discounted. That's why he's not going to be re-signed by the Dolphins. And that's what a team would do is say, hey, look, we want to bring you in long term. We're going to evaluate his medicals, make sure that he's recovering. But we want to bring you in. We're going to discount you on that first year. We're going to give you $15 million on the other 3 years, but we're going to give you $5 million for the first year because you're basically not going to play at least the first half of the season coming back from that ACL. And that's fair, and it's already being talked about like that. So it's not a big shocking thing. Otherwise, he's just going to sign a 1-year prove-it deal, which what does he have to prove? He's already proved he's worth the big contract, okay? Lloyd Cushenberry is the other option, and I love Lloyd Cushenberry as well, especially for his pass blocking, which we need more than anybody, and he is ascending. He's a young center that's figured it out, and he's ascending. 4 years, $56 million. Either one of those are good contracts that I like. I like both of these guys, and I think we need to sign one of them, and if we don't, I'm going to be terribly disappointed, but I think we will. My opinion. All right. So here's my preference as we get to the end of the video. Number 1, sign and draft a top-tier vet and draft a rookie mid to late round. All right. Draft Jackson Powers Johnson. And then with guards, that was the center position. Draft a rookie in the 3rd to develop along with Nate Davis. I see us needing to add multiple guys here in this room, though. So I wouldn't be shocked if multiple things happened. If we draft Jackson Powers Johnson, draft Zach Zinter, sign Connor Williams, and even then pick up another low-level guy to be able to come into this room as well. Ja'Tyre Carter is not an answer for this team. He's a depth piece, and he's got some experience on this team. But there's a lot of work to do on the guard center position. This, to me, is going to be one of the funnest things to watch in this offseason, see what the Bears do with this position on the team. because this will set up the team for years to come. So I expect multiple draft picks, and I expect at least one big signing to be at center. That's what I expect from this team. Let me know your thoughts. This is fun for me. Let me know what you think. I do enjoy interacting with you guys. I do appreciate the opinions, even if they aren't the same of mine. And sometimes I do pick some new things up from you guys. So do let me know what you think. But I think there's a clear direction to go on this one. And this is going to be a fun one for me to watch this off season. Until we do our next one, I appreciate interacting with you guys. And we'll see you next time. Bear down.